Hi everyone, it's K-Red, and welcome back as we continue on this fun random doodle project. In this video, we're going to continue the doodle and come up with fun patterns as together we decide what to draw next. I'll add a link if you missed the first video, but without delay, let's get started right where we left off.
I've had in my brain to put these in a few times, and each time I've distracted myself. So this time it's happening. Sometimes I do these and I just don't like them, which is why I've been trying to talk myself out of doing them. But that's what I'm thinking. So for this here, we're going to go back to a 5. This is an official tangle. I don't know if it's an official Zentangle tangle, but this is a made tangle that I have been doing forever. And so, of course, I don't remember the name of it. I will spend some time going through tanglepatterns.com. And I did download their they have a PDF you could download of all of them for a small donation. I was happy to support the site. They have done so much to help me. So I'll try to get you the official name for this one. I don't know it yet. It's one I should definitely do on my peaceful patterns though, because I do love it and I do it often. It looks just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and skip one and do it here. I'm not sure if I'm going to want it on each of them or if I want something in between them. So I'm going to hold off, and that way I have an options if I do decide I want something in between them. I think I do. I go back in and put just a little bit of well, it's supposed to be a small triangle. I don't know that my eyes are well enough to make sure it's a triangle, so it's just a little spacing in there. And then let's go ahead and do one more, so it's kind of like that. I'm thinking of the idea is I wonder if it would be interesting to look at and fun to do if in between these, rather than actually put any drawing, I just do a shading. I'm sure that would be interesting to look at. Should we do one more over here? You just go from the bottom up into an arc, and then you go up and hit about the 2/3. And you just keep going down about equal lengths. When you get to a big curve or something, you could have a little bit longer of an arc happen. This is one where when we shade it, we can have a lot of fun with it. You start at the top and you work your way down. Now we're going to add in that little tiny triangle at the top. And there's just a bit of a shadow that makes, in my opinion, a big difference. There you go. That's how that looks. So now I have kind of these circles in the corner. Let's go ahead and let them continue on till it looks like they kind of spill in to this area. Kind of like that over there. Now I can decide what I want to do. I can do little tiny circles behind them all. I think what I'd like to do is just do black behind them all. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab a spare piece of paper. This is one that I practiced some of that Take 5 on the other day, actually. Just out of a spare book I have. I'm going to have my 8 nearby. I'm going to also have my 12 nearby. I'm going to start down here. We're going to go ahead and let this all be black. I mentioned in a past video that I'd gotten this, it's been a few months now, but normally when I have a little table that I write on, I don't have any problem with it being all marked up, and I always think it's a mark of an artist to have the leftover kind of remnants on it, but for some reason this table I'm kind of enjoying the color of it. So far I haven't wanted a lot of marks on it. I'm sure there's some on it because it's just, you know, just like the other spots, I don't fast forward so I don't have time. If you get one the way you kill the circle enough, you can just close it off. I'm going to try hard to keep my circles as a circle. That was a pin I dropped, sorry. Let's see. Guess I probably should have drawn these to begin with the thick pin. Don't worry, I'm planning on switching over to an 08 real quick, and that's when I'll come back and get the rest of those. Look at some people's art online, and they do a great job of this filling in the back. I do struggle with it. I do not always think that I get it exactly right, but like everything, the more I do it, the better I get at it. Just want to encourage you, don't judge by others. It's very easy to do. I of course do it. You of course do it. It is human nature. Just enjoy what we have, enjoy what we do. Filling in a larger spot. Remember, your pen just barely has to touch the paper and the ink will come flowing out. No need to push hard. Anytime I can hear my pen working and scratching, I realize I'm probably going a little too deep, a little too hard. That's where we are with that. Loving the dark borders, loving the flow of it. I'm gonna add, I'm gonna go way above my paper again too. I'm gonna add some dark borders here. I'm not sure what I want between these. Okay. So this is where we are for today. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. Sometimes they don't all get finished in a day. What is interesting is tomorrow I'll come in and I'll be in a whole new mood. I'll be in a whole new position. So we'll see how it'll look tomorrow, and it could change drastically. I do kind of want to close off this one little spot right here, though. Down to a point. There we go. So that just kind of doesn't leave like an open void there. And then tomorrow, oops, sorry about the phone noise. So then tomorrow, we'll go ahead and we'll come back and we'll see what we do next. Hi, everyone. Well, as you watch this video, it is just a second since you last saw me, but in the real world, it's actually a couple days later. I'd gotten to this spot in my drawing, and so now I am back to enjoy and finish this up. So because it's a couple days later, it's always kind of fun to come back and look and see what we've done. We've done take 5 down here. We did this one right here is called Sand Swirl. I just had to take a peek and double check. I have not gone in and looked what this is. This is a tangle. I know I've learned it on one of the sites at some point. So hopefully by the time I edit this, I will have gone in and found that. And then these are all just, this might be somewhat of a remnant of another one, but these are just me drawing one line after another and seeing where we go. These are just plain old circles where I color in behind them. We'll add some shading in this and hopefully give a little bit of interest into those. What we could do is we could go in and do like an extra lines or something within each of these. That could be fun. Maybe we'll do something along those lines. But yeah, this is where we are. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, really 6 more main areas to fill in, and then just touching up where we're going. I think this needs a little something. I'm not exactly sure what. Alrighty, now the ice cream truck has gone by. So let's see exactly what we feel like drawing. I sure do love this take 5. I've had a lot of fun playing with it. Not sure this pen is working well. It's about time for me to get some new pens. These are running pretty low. Alrighty, well, we have kind of a circle here and a square or swirls there. Over here, let's do something like a box. So let's start by doing a spiral box. Now we have to decide, do we want them random in there or do we want them in rows? Let's do a row. Not sure that's the right decision, because without a guideline, rows can be very difficult. As you can see, I'm already getting smaller, and I'm going on an angle. So let's change it and see if we can do it random. I think that's just going to be the wiser way to do it. And I'm not sure if I've actually done this before, but rather than doing a completely random, let's do random lines or random rows. Let's see where that takes us. It's always a little bit hard for me to leave a project completely and come back days later. It always amazes me how just a couple days can make my mood completely different, and that will make my drawing completely different. How stressed I am is different. It all shows up in the drawings. Now, pre-YouTube, I never thought about it. I started one day and ended the next day. It was never a thought to me because, well, to be honest, the project itself was never really much of a thought. It was always just a opportunity for me to relax and unwind a little bit. This is looking kind of neat. The way these lines are looking, it's reminding them a little bit of a very odd Hollenbaugh. So what I am thinking of and considering now is this is definitely turned out different than when I picked up the pen and started to do them what I had in my mind. But what I'm not sure of is, I'm trying to make these look like they definitely are going into the next section, so they can look a little bit more like an actual lines. And I'm trying to decide what I'm going to want to do behind it. Do I want to leave it white behind it? I'm probably not going to want it all colored in black. I don't know that that would look the way I would like. This is a part where I'll start to think, oh no, I have ruined the whole thing. I kind of liked it the way it was looking. Thought it might turn out to be a nice one. And then I started doing stuff and I started to get worried that maybe it's ruined. But I do still kind of like it. I think I'm going to go back in. Oh, any of you who know me know that usually when I sit down to draw, I forget to change my glasses. Today is no different. I forgot to put on. I have reading glasses that I wear when I draw. And I can always tell when I start to do something fine and I'm like, oh, I don't have my glasses on. I'm going to see, once again, there's a piece of me that's really worried that I've ruined it. I kind of like the idea of it starting from a solid black square. So I'm going into the very core of each of these and giving it a teeny tiny square. I'm not sure how close we'll be able to zoom in for you to see, but some of them are actually even less of a square or rectangle, a little bit more of a triangle. I'm going to go ahead and just let it go with whatever it was that I drew. My art pieces that I like the most are the ones that have a really good balance between some nice solid black and light. So I'm hoping that this will help give the page a little balance on black and white. I am completely playing around in my mind of doing dots behind all of these. having them just be a pen dot underneath it. It'll add some depth, kind of take away the starkness of the white. I believe I am going to do it. I'm using an 8 pen now. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Now when you do these, you can make them as light as or dark as you want, but just like everything, do much lighter to begin with. You can always go back and do more. These squares are the first thing that I drew sitting down, and that may have turned out to be a mistake because I haven't really calmed down much or kind of focused in on slowing down on my drawings, so they were probably made a little too quickly and without purpose quite as much as they should have been. If you know you're going to be drawing something that you want to be pretty exact, just do a little, if you do a little practice drawing first, it can help you kind of get into the zone or mood or zen or warmed up. Just get you warmed up a little bit. So boy, that sure does look busy. It does look awfully busy. Go ahead and define out the outside line of each square a little bit. Give it a little bit more definition. And I think when we do shading, I'll come back and add some shading behind the outside one and see if that also helps it pop above the dots a little bit. Then go back in with a 1 and do some dots with a 1. I'll make a much smaller dot and add a little dimension even among the dots. Now, it remains to be seen if I'm ultimately going to like this little section on here. For any of you who are new, the way I draw is I am obviously not an accomplished artist. I am actually a negotiator, and I have found that after some stressful day, I have a lot going on, that doodling has really helped to calm my mind and allow me time to process my day, to process my thoughts, and just really enjoy myself. But because I'm not an artist, the way I do it is I just draw one line after another. And sometimes I end up with things I really like. And sometimes I end up with things that aren't my favorite. But don't give up. Oops, I dropped the pen. I just switched to a number 1 so I could do some of those finer dots. The biggest point though, however, is that you just don't give up. Just keep going. If it turns out not to be your favorite, you don't do it again. Turns out like you were on to something, but maybe you could do a little bit better next time, well, then do that too. Drawing isn't about perfection. At least not the way I draw. The way I draw is definitely not about perfection. It's about finding some joy and some peace and some calm. Don't let anybody take that. Allow yourself the freedom to be imperfect. I always have to remind myself that it's okay to do something that I'm not really good at, like drawing. I'm not bad. It's not that I'm saying something bad about myself or any of those type things. We all do things. So we can look at somebody else who does it. I can make dinner, but then I can go and look at Gordon Ramsay and think, well, yeah, okay, well, there's somebody who can cook better. My cooking was good. And then it's served its purpose, fed my family. That's the way I look at drawing. There are a lot of people online who I just watch and I'm just in awe of them. They're just great. But That doesn't mean I'm not going to do it, because I'm not as good as they are. Nice thing about Zentangle, kind of a doodle, is that I turn the paper and look at it from different angles. And I think having those little dots in there and having the darker outline on each one kind of helped. We'll see. We'll see how it looks once it's all together and it all blends together. We'll see where we end up. So now we're here. So for here, I think what I'm going to do is almost like an and sign. You just make a swirly loop, you come down and you do it again. And I'll make an attempt for it to be spaced out fairly decent. It'll look just like that. I'm going to darken in the edge circles. And usually when I darken in the circles, I lose that S shape that I made, or my eye doesn't see the S shape the way I did. And instead I see these kind of pointed triangles. Just kind of changes the focus of my eyes. Of course, when I hold the paper like this, I can see them again. Fun. Okay. Just like that. Give myself just a little bit of fresh black on this, a little bit more of a thick line there. We'll do some stuff with shading too to try to help these white lines maybe pop up and the things behind it go back. So now for this next one, we're going to go and grab a little ruler, if I can find a little ruler handy. There we go. These little plastic clear pink ones are some of my favorites because I can see through them. Now, a lot of times I will do this ruler first in pencil because it's kind of easy to mess up. I'm trying to decide whether I want to do this space or this space. I guess this space. I want to give myself some boxes. I'm still debating whether I want these boxes to be in pencil or pen. Let's be brave today. And we're going to make them, I guess that would be 1/2 inch on the ruler. Because I could see through, I had the pink line there, and that's what I like about these see-through rulers. If I don't have them in the comment box, I'll try to add them, is I can line them up and I don't have to worry if my portions are right. So I usually just start somewhere in the middle. And this to make them closer together. Let's start by making them big because we could always go in half again. It's such a small area. We don't really get a lot of boxes. Whoops, I guess this could have continued all the way over. So we kind of have just that little square area. I'm going to switch. I'm using an 8 right now. I'm going to switch back to that 3. Oh, let's see. I was using 1 earlier. Let's go ahead and use the 3. And let's see, make sure we're still in the camera. Let's draw a small, not really a half circle because it's a little flatter than a half circle would be. And when you're going out of the square, just go about to where you think it would be. And you can do one side and then the other. Notice I let this come over in front of it. Same thing with those dots. Or I can just draw it. Now that we have those, we're going to turn the paper and do it again. I just have a little pattern there. I'm just going to go back to that pin, but rather than an 8, I don't think I want quite that thick. Let's see if I can find a 5. There we go. We're going to use a 5 and just go right in the middle. I always like to put a circle in the middle where my lines meet. It covers up a lot of sins. I failed to put the little bottom on that, so I'm going to add that in. And it's okay, that's the bigger pin. It's such a small amount you can't tell. So now we have a nice little box like that. So we can leave it like that, or we can go back to the 3 and we can do another line within it. And I'm following the shape of the outside line. So here we're going to get a full box. There we go. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to stick with this 3 is in the middle. We'll do this one because it's my only full one. I'm going to put a square. And then in the middle of this one, I'm going to put a square. And then this square, probably can't see quite the whole thing. Same with this one. This one I think you could. And we're just estimating where we think that square would be, so we can add it on. I don't think you can see it. Let's make this a little more rectangle than I'd like, maybe a little more square. And we're even going to give ourselves, our eyes, the illusion of that corner square. Once again, we'll have some fun with some shading a little bit later on.
Well, this video is starting to get a little long, so let's go ahead and stop here, and in just a couple days I'll post the conclusion of this project. You'll want to see where we go from here, what decisions we make in shading, and we decide where to take this last few spots to fill in. So please like and subscribe. Don't want you to miss the conclusion, and I'll see you back as we finish this up in just a few days.